Hey, everybody. Welcome
Hi,
to Tuesdays in the Shop. I'm
I'm
Yvette.
Andrea.
Oh, Andrea, very quiet. Let's see if I can make you louder.
I don't know. Did that help at all?
It's funny because you weren't quiet when we were just testing a minute ago.
Of course not. Let me make sure I still have the same settings. I didn't change
Where's our
them.
technical difficulties sign?
Yeah, oh, it's over there. Yeah, I'm still using the same microphone.
You know what? I think it was that I had turned my volume down because
That'll do it.
you music and I didn't want to listen to it so loud. Okay, never
Yes,
mind.
it's,
It
it's
was for IT.
surprising how that works. When you turn the volume down, things get quieter. Yeah.
Amazing, right? Yeah. All right. So everybody probably can notice that I'm at home right now and Andrea's in the store. This is because I'm quarantining because I maybe have the strep throat. My boyfriend has strep throat. And Sandra's saying there's a little echo. Yeah, sorry about
Yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that. So hopefully you guys will just have to bear with us tonight.
that. Yep. So anyway, back to the regularly scheduled programming. This is Tuesdays in the Shop. I'm Yvette.
I'm Andrea.
And we're from Gotham Quilts in New York City. This week, we want to show you some brand new fabric that just came in from New York fabric designer Rachel Hauer. She actually lives in Westchester, just north of the city.
Oh, I thought she was in Brooklyn. Okay.
She was in Queens originally, and then I think like 2019 they moved up.
Got it.
Suburbs. Yeah, so she's our friend, and she became a fabric designer for Free Spirit a couple years ago, and she has a really unique point of view. She is somebody who draws.
Yeah, you can tell that she draws a lot. Her artwork is beautiful.
Yeah, and her career is actually a tattoo artist, so it's really interesting to see how that translated into fabric.
Yeah, it works really well.
So I'm going to switch the cameras to focus on Andrea because Andrea's at the store and can show you things. And
Yes.
I'll be the little window down here.
Okay, your little window's blocking some of our fabric, but that's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
That's fine. So yes, so the collection I don't think we mentioned, but it's called Mariana. So it is an ocean themed collection. And in the past, let's see, we've had her, I think the first one she did, Forest Floor, I think it was called, Forest something. It was beautiful. And we had that collection. We had her Halloween, one of her Halloween or two, I can't remember, a couple of her Halloween collections, which were really awesome as well. But this one is really cool. So I'm going to show you some of the prints, and then I'll talk a little bit about what is behind me here that you might, hopefully, you're enjoying. Let's start with, I didn't actually put these in any specific order, but let's start with this one. This one is, let's see, Scallops by the Seashore. So it's like a clamshell. But you can see this detailed drawings and really cool artwork, which, like, look at this jellyfish. How cool is that? And you got the mermaid's purse, the horseshoe crab, scallops. So I can see quite a few things you could do with that one. I think that one's really cool. We have Gentle Giants, which is, it's going to be hard for me to make sure they're all in the right direction. Stingrays and whales and sharks, and again, really cool artwork. The colors, I mean, it's hard to tell what your screen is showing, but my screen is making them duller than they actually appear. Oh, this one, the Nautilus.
Yeah, that one's really
good. At that Nautilus.
So
cool.
I was trying to figure out why it's called Mariana. And it's because of the Mariana Trench, which is the deepest part of the ocean. In her little blurb, she wrote, "This image of sea life has always stuck with me. In this collection, I'd like you to imagine that you are in your submarine, looking through a window and discovering life in the vast ocean. The background becomes darker, fading from light blue and mints to a bold black." Isn't that cool?
Yeah. So this one, what's this one? Artful Anchovies.
This is one of the coolest stripes I think I've ever seen.
It really is. And well, I'll talk about it a little bit more when I talk about the project behind me, but I wasn't sure how this one was going to work, but it actually ended up being one I did. So that's a couple. Let's see and then over here we have some more. The mermaid purse one is really cool too. And I didn't bring them all up because there were quite a few.
How many of them are there total?
14.
14. Okay.
Mermaid's purse. So for those of you, these are actually egg sacs, shark egg sacs. But they started calling them mermaid's purses at some point because they're these kind of leathery sacs that will sometimes wash ashore once the eggs have hatched in the ocean. They have these kind of stringy hooky things that will grab onto seaweed and kelp and things like that and keep them in the ocean, keep them nice and safe until the eggs hatch. And then they end up washing up on shore sometimes. But yeah, so I guess they look like a purse. I don't know. But that's a cool one too. I love these colors, this deep teal with the nice gold and then a little bit of green.
They look like aliens to me.
Kind of. So the next one, again, was I wasn't too sure about. You probably have not seen these in person because I think they only live in the very, very deep ocean. The anglerfish. This is one of the creepiest fish you've probably ever seen or seen pictures of, since none of us have actually seen it in person unless you go on deep sea dives or something. But this, only the females. What?
I was going to say that fabric could be a Halloween fabric. Like it's like
it totally could. Yeah, so this fish, which I don't know why I know about this, but I watch a lot of nature shows, I guess. So this is a fish. Only the female looks like this. And she's got this bulb that lights up and she can swing it back and forth to attract prey. And then once, the prey comes to check out the light and she eats it. The males are a tiny fraction of the size of the females and they are parasites basically. So they just latch on to the side of her and just feast off of what she eats. And they're just these tiny little things. And I don't know why, but I always thought that was really cool. But I just love this drawing. The artwork is just so cool. Look at those teeth. And then we have some other smaller prints that are equally cool. We've got some jellyfish here. What's this one? Jellyfish Jamboree. So I like how she really just fills all of the space with these jellyfish and the tentacles. And, it's just, I think it's really cool. So those are some of the bigger prints. There are a couple more that I was just too lazy to bring upstairs. Oh wait, actually I have pieces of some of them right here in front of me. Which one did I bring? Maybe I did bring. Oh, one of them is this one. Is Plankton, Playful Plankton, or Plankton Party, I think. So this one is all your little tiny things that you can't probably see by eye, but if you were to look in a microscope, you'd see all these little things. And I think I brought all these others back up. This one, I do have this one, but I'll show you this piece because it's easier to hold up. So this one has little hermit crabs. Let's see, what is it called? It is hermit crab hide. So we've got hermit crabs and then the anemones or whatever that grow on top of their shells sometimes. Some seaweed and coral there in the background. So I love how realistic they are, but also I guess some of them are a little bit creepy, but creepy in a cool way, at least I think. And then there's also some blenders to go with it because they can't all be, these big scale, really detailed things. So we have anemones in golden. So that's a good blender that goes really well with all of these, bright teals and blacks. So that is going to be very useful, I think, in using this collection. And then we have kelp in green. So again, another very usable blender. This really good, it's a good green, actually. Oh no, it doesn't quite match my shirt, but it's very close, or at least the bright part is. And then there's,
yeah.
Sorry, what?
Oh, I was saying, I think that one's really usable.
Yes, I think so too. So that's another good one. And there's some greens in here that it picks up, and like the mermaid purse one, you know, it actually has the seaweed, the kelp in here too, with the little bubbles on it and stuff that you can see here. So it's a little bit hard to see on screen, I can tell, but in person they match really well. And then this one, Coral Cascade. I think this one is super usable too. Coral has been very popular in home deck for a while and in various other forms. And this one, it's just like, you could use this for anything. I could see, I mean, this would make great wallpaper. Not that you're probably going to put it on your wall, but it would. Curtains. Yep, totally. A nice accent pillow, especially if you were going to use some of these bigger prints, like the Nautilus, for instance. Like if you wanted to use this one, I'm not sure which, I think it goes this way. If you wanted to do this, and this would make a super cool pillow, and then maybe you would have your more tame pillow next to it. So you could switch those up, have like an accent. I think those look really good together. So yeah, that looks great. And that's the blender. So yeah, so just the 3 blenders, the coral, the kelp, and the anemone. And most of the prints are these larger scale, detailed, cool prints. So yeah, so when we saw this, we got really excited. It's different than, I mean, I've never seen a collection quite like this that was
so unique
and so realistic without being gross, I guess. I don't know what the word is. I personally am not a fish fan. I don't like fish.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. You have like
I don't want to touch them. I don't want to eat them. I don't really want to have anything to do with them. But these fish are cool. Like I can totally get down with these fish. The one thing I am a little disappointed, I will admit, that there's no octopus. I
knew you were going to say that.
Any deep
or like
ocean.
A giant squid. They're deep in the ocean.
Yes, I know. The Nautilus is related to squids and octopus, so that's close, but it's still not. It's not an octopus. Like, I mean,
you and I need to
are all
design an octopus collection. That's really like the end story.
They are hard to draw without looking gross, though. Like you can either make them cutesy or you can make them realistic, and there's not a lot. Like it's a fine line between cute and realistic, I think. Which I think we did pretty good with our Athena quilt. I shouldn't say we, because my husband actually drew that octopus. And I think he did a good job making it not look too scary, but also pretty realistic. So yes, I think it's missing an octopus, but other than that, it's pretty great. This Nautilus is just amazing. So now let's talk about the wall hanging behind me. So many years ago, when I was working at the City Quilter, I taught a class that I called Outside the Blocks, and it was inspired by a quilt that someone else had done. And people kept coming in, and I think there was a sample of it hanging. And people kept coming in and being like, oh, wow, this is really cool, but I don't have these exact fabrics, so I can't make it. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you can make this with anything. And so I sort of took the idea and then, as we all do, kind of ran with it. So I came up with this Outside the Blocks. I was teaching it as a class for a while. I never actually wrote a pattern for it. And then I totally forgot about it until Yvette brought it up like a week ago. And when she looked at these fabrics, she was just like, oh, what about that idea? Done. I was off and running. Like I couldn't think of a better use for these fabrics. So what's happening here? So this is just, it's regular piecing. So these are 8.5, finished at 8-inch blocks. So I've got my 9 8-inch blocks and then my sashing. So it's pieced just like you'd piece any other quilt. And then these extra pieces, you go back into the fabric and find the same image and cut out a second of that image and just, put some fusible on the back and fuse it on top. So this one, so we've got the coral coming outside the blocks, and then some of the nautilus shell. Here we have the sharks, the anglerfish coming out. We've got little crabs, scallops, mermaid's purse, more crabs, anchovies, and little horseshoe crabs. This one I thought might be kind of boring, but I ended up really liking again, I'll pull it down and hold it closer so you can see in a second, because it's actually a pretty small repeat. And normally I've done this with very large repeats, but it still works really well. So we've just got these little horseshoe crabs running off, kind of trying to escape, it looks like. And then here you can see the anchovies, which it's the same stripe, just repeated. So the repeat is only about 4 inches, which I was like, that's not going to be very interesting, but I think it totally worked. Extending some of the seaweed out and having, a couple just off by themselves. So that one, I think, ended up working a little bit better than I expected, which is always nice when that happens. I just wanted to show you. So this one down here is not complete. I haven't quite finished that one, but I wanted to give you an idea. Let me pull it closer so you can get a better idea of what I'm actually talking about here. So we'll start with my little horseshoe crabs running around. So you can see that one there at the bottom trying to escape. And we've got our anglerfish and hermit crabs up here at the top. They're trying to get out, their little claws. And the scallop. That one was a little tricky. I wasn't quite sure how to do this one, but I thought just cutting out the full scallop would work. And of course, the nautilus had to be in the center. That one is just so cool.
You did a lot of applicating that one.
I did. I got a little carried away. Mermaid purse, sharks. Yeah, you know me. I never get carried away, do I?
No. You like, minimal and simple.
Right, exactly. Very much so. So this one down here at the bottom. So this one, I still have this bottom part that I haven't added anything to. Where'd my little piece go? Here it is. So what I've been doing is cutting, in this case, like you cut out one of the shapes that you've used in your block, cut it out loosely and put your fusible on the back. So this piece I've started to cut, but I have not finished yet. So it does have fusible. I've peeled the paper off already because it's easier to cut that way, because some of these are very, very tiny, the little crab antenna and claws and stuff. So it's just easier to cut those very closely if you peel the paper off before you do that. But the fusible itself gives it a little bit more stiffness, makes it a little easier to cut, gives you cleaner cuts. You definitely don't want to cut your fusible, cut your fabric, and then try to put them together. That would be a disaster. You can see here, the key, I think, for this is not using straight lines. So I do still have a straight line here that I haven't trimmed yet, but what I'm going to do, so I can see how it lines up here. So I'm repeating these shapes. So this shell is going to line up because it gets cut off a little bit right there. So I'm going to just keep the whole shell instead of just cutting a line right where the seam is. You'd see that in a second. Your eye would go right to it. So instead of doing that, you keep the whole shell and then just applique over the existing one. And that makes the seam, not the seams, but the edge of your applique almost invisible. And then it makes it really hard to pick out where the edges are, and it just blends a lot better. So this one is going to go in this area. But as you can see, I do still have a straight line at the top. So I need to go in and do it more like these, where I'm cutting around the specific shapes. So you can see his antenna. I started to do it over here, but I still have a straight line on that one that I need to clean up. But you can see you just want the shape, the motifs that you're trying to use. So the crab, is he even on here? Oh, the crab's not even on this one at all. So he gets completely cut off. Oh, you can see just a tiny bit of his little, and the anemone that's on top of him. But so he'll go down here and he'll come way down into the border. So that'll
that
make
really
the border.
shows really well what's happening here. We're gonna, by we I mean Andrea, is gonna make a tutorial video for this technique, and we'll post that separately on our YouTube channel, not as a live video, but just as a regular video. And then when we've already opened up pre-orders for this kit, this wall hanging kit, and we'll ship it in September once we have the video tutorial ready to go and the instructions ready to go with all the information in it, because this is definitely not the kind of thing that you would be able to reverse engineer by just looking at it. It does require
and I think just a written pattern is going to be hard as well, which is one reason I never did that before. I only taught it as a class. But I think back then there weren't really video tutorials, but now that's pretty easy to do. So this time I will attempt to write it down and put it on paper. But in addition to that, we'll also do some video tutorials to show you a little better. And then I just
put the QR code for this collection on the Zoom or stream, so you can scan that code that's up there. Why did you make a face, Andrew?
Add glow-in-the-dark paint on the anglerfish. I love that idea.
Somebody commented
that. Thread. That was one of the things Yvette was like, oh, you could add some embroidery. That would be really cool.
Yeah, especially when there's so much space. Yeah.
Oh, I love that idea. Thanks, Hank.
So what I was saying is you can scan the QR code that's on the screen right now, and that'll take you to the Mariana collection on our website. So we have all the fabrics available by the yard, and then we have full collection bundles, but we also have pre-order set up for this wall hanging, which we're calling Outside the Blocks. And this will ship next month in September.
Because I still have to write the pattern for it. So as usual, we come up with these ideas, our best ideas seem to happen last minute. Yeah. So, but at least they happen. That's better than not happening.
Yeah. I mean, this came out so good. And to think that you made this in like 2 days is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that's once, the idea comes and it's a good idea, you can't stop me. Like that's what I'm going to do. And I really enjoy cutting out all the pieces too. I think for someone like you, Yvette, who has hand strength issues, it would probably not be very much fun. So just keep that in mind. If you are a person that has problems with your hands, this might not be the project for you unless you have a child or a friend that you can con into cutting them out for you.
I usually can cut like that. I just have to take breaks. And I like the scissors that have the spring action.
Yes.
Because then it's like less actual movement.
Yeah, those are key. I love the spring action scissors as well, because you don't have to push to close them. They automatically close and open by themselves. Well, you have to push to close, but they open by themselves.
Right.
So you do end up with some sort of Swiss cheese fabric, but that's okay, because like this is this. So if I were to just cut, I could put that right there, and I cut around all these corals, and then that becomes that. So the edge of this one is right along this brow ridge, and then along one of the shadows. So it's not actually the whole thing. It ends kind of here. But yeah, like I was saying, you don't want to just do a straight line, because you're going to zero right in on that, and it's not going to look so cool. So you want to do a little bit more than you think. So these repeats are actually not gigantic. I did this with a K-Facet fabrics once, and you had to buy like 1.5 yards of each of them to get the same thing that you can cut out multiple times. This one was much simpler. The repeat is a lot smaller. So like the fish, I don't know how many little fish I cut out, because they're all almost the same. So I could take those, and they're easy to cut out too. They don't have, all the weird things. So yeah, so I had a lot of fun doing it. I thought it was really cool. I'm excited about how it came out. Oh, and the sashing fabric it's not quite solid. It is a blender from Figo called Water in Jade. So it even adds to the water, the feel. It's not blue, it's a green, but a very
Teal?
blue-green. I guess it's teal. I mean, it's greener than the teal that's used in the backgrounds here. But you needed enough of a contrast so that those backgrounds still stood out and didn't just fade in. So we needed a little bit. We tried so many fabrics, and this one was the clear winner when we found this one. And it just works so good with the little wave to it. It just really adds to the design, and I think it looks so cool. And so it comes out at 42 inches square. So it's a good size for a wall hanging. And with all the fusible applique, you're probably not gonna wanna be washing this a lot anyway. The plan is to sew around all of those when it gets quilted. I don't really wanna do that twice, to do it once beforehand and then again during quilting. During quilting should be fine, but there is still a lot of pieces to go around. And some of them are very thin, so it would be difficult to keep this looking good if it was something you were going to wash. So it works really good for a wall hanging. It's a nice size. It's just really eye-catching, and kind of draws you in, makes you want to look at it closer, which is kind of like all of these fabrics, just this gorgeous artwork.
Yeah, which one of those prints is your favorite, Andrea?
That's a tough one. It might have to be this Nautilus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stunning.
Yeah, the colors are really nice on that one.
They really are.
Can you show the shark one, the yardage of the shark one?
Yes. Here, I have a piece. My leftovers. Actually, no, I'll show the yardage because the piece I cut didn't get the rays front and center.
I really like that one too because the stingrays are so beautiful.
I love the stingrays. Yeah, the piece I cut. And the other thing is, if you were to do something like this, you could choose to cut different places. You could put your stingrays in the middle maybe, or have them further down so they are what is sticking out. You get to decide, which is the cool part. The piece that I cut for myself the stingrays were not in a place that worked very well. I don't know, I totally could have. Yeah, I could have cut my square in a different place and gotten more of the stingrays to go outside the lines. So you get to choose how you want it to look, what you want your accent to be, what you want to go in and out. And 1/3 of a yard worked really well. You have enough left over, as you can see here, that if you want to do a lot of applique, you have enough fabric. If you want to do less, that works too.
That's a good point. Someone could customize it. So when you're making, everyone gets the same kit, but you could end up with different versions of it based on what part you decide to cut.
Exactly. Yeah, which, depending on what you want to focus on and what parts you want to cut out, no two are going to look exactly alike. Everybody's is going to be a little bit different. Even if you were trying to copy this one, I don't think it would come out exactly the same. And you could do a lot of applique or just a little. It's totally up to you. So you really can customize this.
That's great. Does anyone who's watching have any questions for us? You want to see any of these fabrics again or closer up or anything like that? I just had the idea, which I should have said to you 15 minutes ago. Maybe we should make a coordinates bundle for this collection because the colors are so dark. And they're not obvious what colors you would use.
That's well, yes, you're right. I can work on that. But having the blenders is really helpful.
Right.
To use this for anything other than this. So I didn't use any of the blenders in this project because I thought they'd be kind of boring as a block. But if you're doing a regular kind of quilt, where you need some, low key prints, and then also some of your more contrast prints, the blenders are going to work really well for that.
Yeah.
So that does help. You don't see them in this, but they are there. But yes, I can pull some solids and some coordinates to go with it too.
Barbara's asking to look at the fabrics again. If you could just
show
them and what they're called.
Okay, let's do this again. Let's start with this one. Gentle Giants. So this is your sharks and rays. I don't know exactly what kind of sharks those are. I haven't been watching that much nature. Nautilus. What's this? Noble Nautilus. Gorgeous. And I have to say, if I were going to get a tattoo, I would want to get it from Rachel.
Oh man, I'll put it in the chat. Her Instagram is full of her tattoo work, and she's actually Tula Pink's tattoo artist. And yeah, her work is just really unique.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I've checked it out. It's gorgeous. Coral Cascade. So that's a very usable, good blender. Jellyfish Jamboree. I really like this one too. I didn't want to use it in the outside the blocks because I did not want to have to cut around all those tentacles. But I do really like that one. And then again, another one of my favorites is the anglerfish. Is this the right orientation? No. There we go.
I like how she did the light, like the light is lit up.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too. And I was worried about having to cut around it too, but I kept a lot of the black and it looks totally fine. So I didn't go cut out each individual spike. Okay, so that's that stack. And then on this side we have anemone. Anemone is in golden. And it's a really pretty gold. And as you can see how well it goes with the anglerfish there. So that's another really nice combo. Mermaid purse. And I think it goes really well with the kelp, although it's hard to see on the screen. But there, maybe you can see some of the kelp there in that one. So yeah, mermaid's purse.
I think mermaid purse is probably the weirdest of all these.
Kelp. This one's just kelp and green. Artful anchovies. These guys are pretty cute, and I like the kelp is that same gold from the anemone fabric, so that would actually, well, I mean that's the same gold, so that works really well. And with this one, you can see it works really well.
That looks great.
Yeah, they do go really well together. This is the hermit crab hide. So that one's very detailed. And last but not least, sea scallops. Scallops by the seashore. Oop, let's do it the right way here. So like a clamshell pattern.
I think that one would be so cool to embroider on top of.
Yes.
Like the dimensionality of it.
Yeah, very much. And to quilt, if you did, if you just quilted in the seashell and you could do like trapunto, that would be really cool, doing some trapunto on it. Yeah. Or get a really puffy batting, so like your wool batting to make it really
quilt with just quilting around those clamshells. Yeah, that's a good idea.
It would be easy too.
Yep.
Because that's easy to quilt. Just do that a few times and you're done. Yeah, that would be gorgeous too. And then add a little bit of hand embroidery to embellish it. You're done. That's how easy that would be.
I love that this collection is kind of wacky, but it's like really inspiring to do all kinds of different things. And that's not common, right? Like we see so much fabric year in and year out that when we have one that like really catches our interest and really makes our brains race, like that's really exciting for us. And I hope it is for all of you who are watching also.
Yeah, because you start to see the same things over again. Like things will come in and then they'll go out and you won't see them again for a little while, but then they come back and, but you've still already seen them. It might have been a while, but you've seen them. Yeah. But in this case, like I've never seen fabrics like these before. It's just totally fresh. And I think you can do some really cool things with them. And you can do clothing.
Oh yeah, you can make some dresses. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, a lot of these would be cool for clothes, bags, home deck, all kinds of stuff would be really fun, I think. And if you have, if you know somebody that loves the beach or maybe a marine biologist, I would love these. They're, just so detailed and just really nice. Or if you have a beach house, I could see all of these. These would make great quilts for beach houses.
Oh yeah, and not so like beach decor, like a
exactly not your go to Home Goods and pick up the seashell thing. Yeah, this is like real, like cool beach house decor.
Yeah. So we're pretty excited about this group. We're not so sure how quickly it's going to sell out, but this one I think might sell out right away. So don't delay if you think you might want some. We may be able to order it again, but we don't know exactly if we will or not. Right. We have everything on the website and in the store now, so you could come in and pick some up, whichever one you like.
Yeah, if you want to see them in person, definitely come on in, come take a look at them. And Yvette has the QR code up on the screen so that you can just scan that and go right to all of them on our website. If you don't have the QR scanner, you can just go to the website and type in Mariana. And
or click the link in the video description.
For that works too.
Yeah. And we'll start shipping kits next month, and you'll get an email notification when they ship. And when we'll include a link to the video tutorial in the pattern so that you can have Andrea walk you through the process.
Yes. And yeah, as soon as we get that done, we will start shipping kits.
Yeah, exactly. So important to have instructions when we send a kit.
Yeah.
Small detail, right?
Exactly.
All right. I think that's all we had planned to do today. To update on anything?
Just those of you that watched last week, the lovely day, we did pick a sashing. It just got quilted yesterday or today. Looks gorgeous. So none of the sashings that you saw got picked. Just
we picked something
for the surprise. None of those. They all got thrown out. We picked something totally different that we didn't even show you on camera. But sometimes that's what happens. So stay tuned because we're going to come back and show you that soon.
Yep. We're going to work on block of the month soon. Yep.
Yeah, getting that set up as soon as possible. And as soon as we do, we'll let you guys know. But yeah, that's another exciting one. We were actually looking for sashing for both Lovely Day and this on the same day. And that, I was taking up half the store, doing the auditions and stuff. And I thought it was really fun, but I'm not sure my coworkers agreed.
It's funny to think about spending 5 hours picking sashing, but we kind of did.
Yeah. And had how many people chime in? All of you guys watching, the 3 of us, and then the other employees working. I, have to get their opinions too. Customers that happen to be walking by sometimes to throw in their opinion. You never know.
But I really love how it came out, and I cannot wait to show everybody. I think they're going to love it.
Yes. Oh, Lovely Day is gorgeous. Yeah, both of these, I was having a hard time doing the things the day-to-day work I was supposed to be doing because this and Lovely Day were happening, and that was just so much more interesting.
Barbara's asking if it's in the store now. Yes, the fabrics are in the store now, but the kit won't come out till September. So
correct.
You can order the kit now.
Yes, order the kit online. The kit will not be in stores yet either because there's no pattern yet. So as soon as that happens, it'll be available. But you can absolutely order it online. You can have it, set to pick up in store. And as soon as those are ready, we'll get those out.
All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for everyone who joined us. It is nice to see you every week. If you have any questions or anything, anytime, you can always email us or leave a comment, and we will see you again next week.
Thanks, everybody.
New that hopefully you will also love. Have a good night. See you next time.
Good night.